The gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Krishnamoorthi, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairwoman Maloney. I want to ask a few questions of Governor Pritzker. Governor Pritzker, before you became governor, the state faced a $17 billion backlog of unpaid bills, correct?
That's correct.
You've eliminated this backlog of bills, right?
That's correct. Actually, even before the ARPA dollars or support from the federal government.
And before you became governor, the state did not have a surplus, right?
That's correct.
And now you almost have a $2 billion surplus with surpluses projected for years to come, right?
Yes, sir.
And before you became governor, the credit rating agencies downgraded Illinois credit multiple times, right?
That's correct.
And now you've seen Illinois' credit upgraded at least twice, right?
Exactly.
Have you seen a single governor, Republican or Democrat, return the ARPA money that their states received?
I have not.
Are you aware of a single representative or senator of either party demanding that their state or local governments return any of the ARPA money that they've received?
No.
Let me turn your attention to Connect Illinois for a second. This is a fascinating program that expands broadband free of charge to all K through 12 students in Illinois public schools, right?
Correct.
Why is that important?
Well, as we all saw during the pandemic, if you were not connected, it was nearly impossible to get your homework assignments or to turn in your homework assignments or to have online classes or to connect with your teacher or a tutor. We needed to expand and speed up. There were internet connections, and our schools are connected, but many of them are slow connections. And more importantly, outside of school, many people don't have a high-speed connection to their homes. And so the Connect Illinois dollars, both at the state level and then the dollars that we've received from the federal government, really have helped us to accelerate the program that we had in place to make high-speed internet ubiquitous.
And indeed, I think 40% of rural areas do not have access to high-speed internet. And so this was and many urban connections lack high-speed broadband speed. So thank you for doing that. Let me talk about Back to Business, this B2B program that you started. Can you talk about a couple stories, or at least one story, where this Back to Business program actually made a material difference for Illinois small businesses?
Well, I think you're aware that many restaurants and bars, because there were limits to capacity that they had to adhere to in order to keep their patrons safe, suffered throughout the pandemic. And there's a terrific bakery that I visited, in fact, the Blackbird Bakery in Staunton, Illinois, where a couple had started their business there. It's a very popular local place. And they raise their family there too. Their kids are running around while they're baking in the back and serving up front. And they suffered mightily in the early days of the pandemic. They needed a little bit of help to stay on their feet. And they got that, and they're back. They're doing very well. And the family is doing well too, I might add.
Well, they're back to business. That's exactly what the grant program envisioned. Let me talk about reimagining public safety. This is something that obviously is incredibly important to so many Americans. I guess, can you talk a little bit about how the ARPA funds allowed you to reduce significant gaps in mental health treatment for youth and young adults who unfortunately are sometimes in the middle or in the crossfire of firearm violence?
Yeah, so let me be clear. We have seen an increase in gun violence across the state in various urban environments. And that's something that's happened all across the nation, I might add. But it doesn't make it any easier to know that. We have to address those problems directly putting dollars in this year and in the coming 2 years, as we have pledged to do, helps us to support violence interruption programs, youth job programs, to make sure that we're addressing the fundamentals of the causes of crime, as well as our support for police training, for example, and our state troopers.
The gentleman's
you so
time
much.
has
I yield back.
expired. The gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Grothman, is recognized.